We're excited to talk a little bit more about Super Bowl 60 with Trey Wingo, who joins us now on Westwood One Sports. He's the host of Straight Facts Homie on YouTube. You guys, of course, know 20-plus years over at ESPN. You can follow him if you don't already on Twitter and X at Wingos on social media. Trey, great to have you on the show. I was saying, and you can tell me if you think I'm also being biased being in Kansas City. I don't sense the same buzz this week heading into the Super Bowl. I know there's some storylines, but it doesn't have the same build-up to me personally.
Well, it's interesting, guys. Great to be with you. You know, Rich Eisen said something on his show before the playoffs started, and he took a lot of heat for it, but I'm not sure he's wrong. He says it doesn't feel the same without the Chiefs in the postseason. And there are so many variables that the Chiefs bring to the equation in these situations that I'm not sure that Rich was wrong. I think obviously folks in Seattle and New England would feel very differently about that. But in general, the Seahawks are one of those teams, while being a very good football team, they don't bring the buzz or the heat the way some of these other big named teams do, whether it's the Chiefs or the Eagles for the way their fans are and all the other stuff that comes with it. Even if the Cowboys were going 30 years ago, they have that sort of brand and swagger. So, yeah. And New England, I think people are just like, really? Again, these guys, really? We had like a 3-year respite. We got to deal with these guys again, really? So I think that feeds into a part of it. And of course, the Boston fans love it. Us against the world, yes, because you poor suffering children. You've had to deal with so much adversity in your sports fandom. But yeah, I think that, those things factor into it for sure.
Yeah, it kind of has like the feel of like a movie rebooted where they recast something, because it's like the Patriots have kind of been a villain for the last 2 decades plus, but this time around it's like the franchise is the same, but all of the cast of characters are all so different.
No, completely. Yeah, I mean, and you have to give New England credit because they turned it around pretty damn fast. And of course, it helps because they got one thing right away, the quarterback, and it took them a year, but the other thing right, which is the coach. You get a good coach together with a really good quarterback, you're going to win games very quickly. And that's what New England is doing right now.
Drake Maye certainly had an MVP case, to say the least, this year. We know he ended up going runner-up by 1 vote to Matthew Stafford. We can maybe get even into the voting in just a second. But when you watch Drake Maye regular season compared to what we've seen in the playoffs, are you concerned at all that this game tomorrow, that's going to be something that continues, where he struggled here in the postseason?
Look, he's been uneven in the postseason. There's no question about it. It's his first postseason run, and the defenses he's had to face are pretty good. The Chargers defense, despite all their flaws on the offensive line this year because of injuries, really good defense. Houston's defense was suffocating, and the only reason that they lost that game was because C.J. Stroud was a turnover machine. In 2 playoff games this year, he had 5 interceptions and had 5 fumbles. He didn't lose all 5 fumbles, but he just couldn't hold on to the ball. And then obviously you have to sort of take out what happened in the AFC Championship game because weather mitigated everything. But I would also like to remind people that people like to bang on the Patriots because of who they played and how they played in the postseason, and they AFC Championship game against a backup quarterback. You go back to the early beginnings of the first part of the Patriots dynasty. That's kind of how they did it. I mean, Teddy Bruschi would always say to me, that's why he believes Mahomes is on a higher threshold early in his career than Brady. Bruschi, who Bill Belichick called practically perfect player, will say, Tom didn't carry us to those first couple of Super Bowls. We did, the defense. And that's sort of what's happening in the postseason run again. And people are like, well, they had the easiest schedule in the league, and it was the easiest schedule actually statistically since the 1999 Rams. The 99 Rams also won the Super Bowl that year.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that look very familiar if you go through the weeds and see the way the Patriots are sort of planting themselves in this position.
Yeah, we were kind of kicking around the idea of of between these two teams, the Seahawks and the Patriots, and while the cast of characters, we're all still getting used to it. It's like watching the first season of a new TV show. It's like, okay, which of these two teams would you see have the best odds of getting back here to the Super Bowl within the next 5 years? Or you can pick neither of the two teams.
Yeah. Well, I do love the fact that the game hasn't been played yet. And we're who's going to be back next year?
Yeah, right.
It's like,
right.
It's like when we start talking about the draft, and I was doing NFL Live, and it's week 14. I'm like, the regular season. I'm like,
yeah, right.
Just pump the brakes.
It's the
look,
way too early
I would
top
say
25.
to you, I would say this, based on the age of the quarterback, which is the most important thing in football or in team sports in this country. I would lean New England, but the Bills aren't going anywhere. But two teams in that division, are the Jets and the Dolphins, and they tend to always be the Jets and the Dolphins. You look at the NFC West, and Matthew Stafford's coming back. The Rams are really good. If San Francisco's healthy, they're really good. I think the road out of the division might be easier for New England than it is for Seattle. So you have to start there. And then you put in the fact that Sam's been around for a while, and Drake Maye is at the beginning of his career and he's there in year 2. I would just say those factors would tend me to lean towards New England being that mythical team that might make it back to the game that hasn't been played yet another time.
Trey Wingo joining us here on Westwood One Sports. With this game, though, tomorrow, is there a matchup or certainly an angle that you see, maybe that's not being discussed all that much, that you think could end up being the deciding factor for one of these teams?
Well, there's a couple of things. Seahawks are 11-0 this year when they score first. They're the only team undefeated in that category this season. So keep an eye on that. The other thing that I'm really interested in, what I love about Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator for Seattle, and what Mike McDonald, the head coach, have done is they made a decision very early on in this season that we are going to be a balanced offense. Now, what do I mean by that? Only the Ravens at 52% ran the ball more than the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks ran it 50% of the time. Half the time they ran the football. And what's really interesting to me about that is they were second in rushing attempts, but they averaged 4.1 yards per carry, which was 26th in the NFL. Well, why is that significant? Because it shows the value of having to make the defense defend the entire offense that you present. And so often in situations, you see teams get behind by 10, 14 points, and they abandon their game plan and they abandon their run. And we just got to start throwing it. And then it can be a bleep show pretty quickly. What I respect about what the discipline of the Seahawks is that, look, we're not always going to get the yards we want when we run, but if we don't run, they won't respect the fact that they have to defend the run, and then the play fake won't be there, and the big plays over the middle to Jackson Smith and Jigba, and to some lesser degree Cooper Kupp and all those things. So if the Patriots can really shut down the run game, which their defense is capable of doing, that could spell problems for Seattle. But I really respect the way the Seattle Seahawks went about deciding that we will be a balanced offense and we will make you defend the run, even if it's not going really well for us.
Trey Wingo joining us live here. Trey, you've been to over 30 Super Bowls with your time, wonderful time with ESPN, and hosting NFL Live for all those years. Of those years, what play stands out to you as your favorite Super Bowl play of all time? We've kicked around a few today, and if you had to single out one that just sticks out as your favorite, which one would it be?
Well, I mean, there's the personal side and there's the professional side, right? So from a professional standpoint, the helmet catch, I think, will probably never be topped. Quick story. I don't know. How much time do we have before you guys got to go to break here?
Take it away.
Okay.
You're
Super Bowl
good.
42. Okay, Super Bowl 42 in Glendale, Giants Patriots. I was doing post-game coverage. So when you do post-game coverage for Super Bowl, they herd you down as a group, like a marauding army with these little vests that say post-game on. And you have to sort of get together about halfway through the fourth quarter. So they got us all in this thing, and they're walking us through the stadium, and the Giants have the ball, and they're driving to what would eventually be the game-winning score. So I called my friend Mark Schlereth. I said, Mark, listen, we're walking through the bowels of the stadium. There's not a television around. You need to tell me what's happening so I can figure out, what I'm going to do in postgame. So, got it. So he said, okay, Giants, it's a 2nd and 7, and it looks like they're running a wham block to the left side. I'm like, Mark, I do not care what the offensive line is. I do not care. I want you to tell me what happens when Eli gets the ball and where the ball goes. He goes, oh. So we're walking down there, and I'm on the phone with him, and he goes, okay, it's 2nd down, and Eli's scrambling around. Complete, 1st down. Got it. Okay. Then we get into the bowels of the stadium, and there's one monitor in the corner of the end zone up there in the tunnel. And I say, Mark, I can see the game. Great. I got it from it. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you walking me through it. Well, I see Plexico Burress catch the game-winning touchdown. And I'm like, I'm going to be the first guy to interview Plexico Burress for catching the game-winning touchdown as the undefeated Patriots fall short of a perfect season. So I sprint onto the field when the game's over, and I'm one of 3 people around Plexico Burress, and I'm just milking him for everything he's got. I must have asked him 10 questions. And I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then I look over about 20 yards away, and there are 400 people around David Tyree. And I'm like, what the hell are they talking to that scrub for? Why are they talking to that special team? The play that Mark described to me was the helmet catch. And I said, Mark, I love you. You are my best friend, but you are the worst play-by-play guy I've ever had to deal with in my life. You're a great color commentator, but you just boned me completely. I don't think they used 1 second of that Plexico Burress interview because it was all about David Tyree and the helmet catch. And Stink's version was, Eli scrambling, caught it, 1st down. Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Well,
appreciate you. Oh my
love that
goodness!
He gives you so much detail on like the play calls prior to it, and then on one of the most historic Super Bowl plays ever.
Looks like they're trying to pick up a wide blitz on the left side. They're bringing in a chip. I don't care. Follow the ball.
Just the greatest catch in NFL history up there, most spectacular. Just absolutely insane. Hell of a story, Trey. I must say I'm jealous. It looks like, based on what your setup is there as well, what you were telling us off air, how do you take in the Super Bowl? You just sitting on a boat on the ocean watching? What are you doing?
Yeah, we'll get out to the lanai and check on the whales, and then come back in after halftime and watch the rest of the game. And the beauty of it is, game starts here at 1:30.
Okay? Oh man!
So we can have ourselves a morning, sit down, have a leisurely 3.5-4 hour game, and then have a wonderful afternoon to have some activity outside, and then maybe go catch an early dinner. It's not a bad setup. I'm not going to lie to you.
I love it.
We always debate about the best time zone to watch sports in. I think Hawaii time zone might be the answer.
Okay, on Sundays the games start, depending on where we are on the clock, either at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning, and the Sunday night game or the Monday night game comes on at like 2:30 or 3. And then you're done at 6:30. Then you go out to dinner.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Hell of a life. Trey Wingo, appreciate the time. Enjoy tomorrow, and thanks so much for coming on the show.